Politics. Our next guest, best known as America's mayor, he calls the New York State budget catastrophic, warns that if the U.S. economy recovers, we're going to be headed for a tremendous inflation. Yep, Rudy Giuliani sitting right next to me, former New York City mayor, chairman and CEO of Giuliani Partners. He's already pointed out to Jack Welch that Boston's in last place, so they've already it's already started. It's already started. I'm going to try and throw some gasoline on this right from the start. Jack, in Business Week, you give President Obama an A for everything he's done. Now,
no, don't you say that.
For leadership. You seem very quick to.
Because I've been getting the hell beat out of me on emails.
Anyway, Mayor, on an interview recently, you said that the president has gotten off to a tough start, and you criticized the notion of spending during a recession. I'm quoting you: "The measures he's taken don't seem to me to be the measures that would be needed to do in an economy that's in a serious recession." And you got this Red Sox fan, with grading on the curve, giving A pluses to. And you, at some point, I mean, you've never run for president as a Republican, but people think you're a Republican.
I am.
I think what the president has done is it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I dealt with a city that was in financial crisis. And what I did was I lowered taxes and lowered spending. I do not understand how you can work your way out of whatever you want to call this, recession, crisis, or whatever. I do not understand how you can work your way out of this without creating tremendous problems for the future by spending more money than we've ever spent in our history. I mean, he didn't just spend a lot of money. He spent more money than we've ever spent before for things that are questionable. Some of it's good. Infrastructure, completely agree with it. 5% of the stimulus package was infrastructure. But the social programs are going to come back to haunt us in the way of inflation. It's not going to stimulate the economy. It's going to be a drag on the economy. And then I think the reason you had all these tea parties yesterday is because the fear is there's only two answers that he has to this. One is to tax more, and the second is to print money. And I think he's going to do both. And I think these tea parties took place because they're trying to send him a message. Please don't tax by incredibly high rates. Otherwise, we'll be in this. We'll extend this thing by 3 or 4 years. That's the way I see it.
Well, with the tax part, he's got a lot of attention. But his approval numbers are high. And I saw a Gallup poll yesterday, 48% of Americans say federal tax levels are about right, which is about the highest Gallup's had since 1955.
Well, about right means keeping the Bush tax cuts. Right? Of course they're. Well, first of all, remember, something like 42% of the American people don't pay taxes. So if you build that into the poll,
that's about right.
That's about right. I mean, if you're not paying taxes,
that's a huge problem going forward.
That's a massive percentage. So I don't know how that poll was taken, but if you just did a regular sample of people and 42% aren't paying taxes, and you ask them are the tax rates correct, and you're paying zero, or maybe you're getting a check back from Obama, which some people are also getting who don't pay taxes, you may be pretty happy with the tax rate. But remember, the tax rate includes the Bush tax cuts that he has promised to do away with, which would not only be the most spending in American history, that would be the largest tax increase in American history.
Mr. Mayor, you were credited with turning things around in the city when you did those things, when you lowered taxes, when you cut the amount that the city was spending. But the federal government has a very different mandate. It's allowed to spend beyond its budget, and many people say, on both the left and the right, economists say, it's the federal government's job to step in when consumers and businesses stop spending.
It is, and the federal government can have some deficit spending, but it has to be responsible. New York City does deficit spending. I did deficit spending. I did it on a responsible basis. What are you really investing in for the future? So we had about a $5 or $6 billion capital budget to build roads, to fix tunnels, to put up new buildings, to do 20 and 30-year investments. Federal government that's really off the charts now. I mean, we're talking about a $1.4 trillion increase in a very short period of time. That is going to play itself out with inflation a year and a half from now, unless he takes some very serious action to cut back on the size of the federal government.